For over 10 years, I've been working with women who've undergone excision. Women come to see me because they need to talk about it and haven't often had the chance to do so. The impacts of excision are experienced on a daily basis, particularly those who have suffered its physical consequences live with a constant reminder of this type of persecution against women. Pregnancy and childbirth are often triggers that remind them of its consequences. Certain women are overwhelmed by the traumatic experience of excision. Some say they have nightmares. Others are overly vigilant about their children and always tend to overprotect them. They worry constantly about their daughters. All these reactions are normal. The situation varies from one person to another. It's important to let the person define her experience according to her own perception and its personal significance for her. Each person and each story are unique, but they all have points in common. To illustrate the difference from one woman to the next, for example, a person who underwent type 1 excision, where part of the clitoris was removed when she was a baby or a very young child, will probably not remember her excision. While the consequences can manifest later on in childhood or in adulthood, excision may not be a life-altering experience in her case. On the other hand, women who underwent excision at the age of 6 or 7 and were conscious when it took place, they remember it vividly and describe it to me as an extremely difficult experience. The women who come to see us are very strong because they've learned to deal with the physical complications of excision. They've adapted to living with pain from an early age. But it isn't easy, especially when they discover that excision was not a necessary obligation in the context of their country of adoption. Quite often, emotions of anger and rage come to the surface, and justifiably so. We create space in therapy for the person to express her feelings of anger, which are taboo. During therapy, we help women find the words to express what they've experienced and gain a clearer vision of what they've been through. At times when you've had traumatic experiences, you forget some aspects. The women who confide in me are often speaking about it for the very first time. Or else, it's the first time they find themselves in a safe place where they can talk about it without being judged. Above all, this makes them feel better. It's interesting to note that women often hesitate to come and see me because they're afraid of being judged in the same way they were judged in their communities. And once they're here, we help them to realize that the experiences they describe and share, their hardships, the shame, the rage and anger they feel, are all normal. I often tell the women who come to see us, you are normal. It's the violence you experience that's not normal. It's important to know that not all doctors, nurses, social workers, and psychologists are familiar with excision. That's why it's essential to find the right people to provide help. If you don't feel comfortable with a professional, you should say so. It's as simple as that. But it's important to speak about it and get help, because resources such as RAFIQ and RIVO exist. There are those women who've survived excision and who openly speak about it. There are conferences women can attend and support groups for women who've undergone excision. A woman can lead a good life after excision, even after being uprooted and immigrating. It is possible for her to rebuild a positive sense of identity and reconnect with herself, with her ability to act, to find solutions and make the right decisions for herself, her family, and her children.